Oh, hey. So, we've got another fight night in the books, and Jake Paul and Nate Diaz had a little boxing match on Saturday. So, we've got those two things to go over here quick. I guess we'll start off at the top of the card. So, I've probably mentioned this already, but I usually like to do like a full card parlay just for shits and gigs because I don't have a lot to put up really in a betting situation, and I usually come pretty damn close. But my culprits, the ones who screwed me up on this one, were the boy Carlston Harris. Jeremiah Wells just let that slip. Like, he was dominating until he wasn't. He was dominating until he was sleeping. This fight was closer than I thought it would be. I was still working during this fight, so I was only able to catch bits and pieces of it, to be honest. But yeah. So yeah, it was Carlston Harris and Ludovic Klein that screwed me up. I had Bahamondes and Wells. Bahamondes didn't look very great during the weigh-ins. I figured that may play into it, but I went against my better judgment and lost on the slip because of it. But anyways, let's start from the top here. So we've got Asu Almabayev, Ode Osborne. Kind of went how folks had expected it to go. Ode's great. Super exciting fighter, but didn't have enough to beat Asu's wrestling. Next, we got Sean Woodson. This name, Dennis. I'm just gonna call him Bazooka. I was gonna go for this Dennis guy on the card, on my bet slip, because I ride with Sarah Longo so hard, and they're just a great camp. So figured that he may have enough with the game planning and whatnot, but he didn't have much of anything for Woodson. Woodson looked great out there. Enormous featherweight, absolutely enormous featherweight. I'm pretty sure he fought at heavier weight classes, much heavier weight classes. I'm trying to think. Let me pull up his dog. I guess probably Wikipedia would have been a better choice for this one. He's fighting a middleweight here. Welterweight? Okay. He just progressively shrinks over the course of his first few fights. That's funny. But yeah, dude's fighting at featherweight, 6'2". That is crazy. Huge frame, long range, gigantic head. Yeah, the dude's I'm sure if he could refine some things, he could really make a run in the division. He'd probably hit a little bit of a snag with the wrestlers. I don't know how you'd do, but we move on. Cody Durden and Jake Hadley. That was a pretty competitive fight, I guess. Jake landed some damage, but Cody seemed to have controlled the majority of the fight. Had him busted open really bad above the eyebrow. It's a wonder that didn't get stopped. Seen some fights get stopped for less in the past. Billy Quarantillo and Damon Jackson. Another one that was probably more competitive than it should be. Damon Jackson's he's kind of a weird fighter, right? A crazy amount of submissions. but seems to really struggle against really good strikers. I think Billy did good. Would have liked to have seen him do a little bit better. But such is life. And number 5, where the parlay fell apart. Carlston Harris and Jeremiah Wells gets him by Anaconda choke late in the 3rd round. I guess not late in the 3rd round, but in the 3rd round, after being dominated for a majority of the fight. Tyler Phillips and Auni Barcelos. And don't have too much to say about this one because I was working during it, and of course not watching fights while I'm working. Who would do such a thing? Ludovic Klein, Ignacio Bahamondes. What are you gonna do, right? You got a super skilled striker who could use some work at defending takedowns. If he can get much better at defending takedowns, he's still gonna be a problem for the division, but until that gets tightened up, Klein kind of wrote the game plan. So what are you gonna do? Tanner Boser and Alexa Kammer, again, another fight that I wasn't able to really fully watch, but Boser gets the decision win. Diego Lopez, Gavin Tucker. I had Diego Lopez in the 3rd round by submission on one of my parlays. Would have been like a plus 1600 or something like that. If he would have waited a little bit, but no, that was a sick win. Glad to see him doing well. Dustin Jacoby, Kennedy, and Zechku. Solid win. Maybe a little bit premature on the stoppage, but such is life. Kennedy gets to save himself some punishment, if more was even coming, but Jacoby just raining down those hammer fists. Suarez Andrade kind of went how I thought it would go. A little bit more competitive on the Andrade side than I thought, but yeah, Suarez is a beast. She's gonna take you down. She's gonna keep you there. Crazy wrestler. High hopes for her as long as she stays healthy and uninjured. Yeah, the main event. Not much to say here, really. It was a good fight. Corey controlled a good part of the fight. Not sure what the story is of why it was moved to a catchweight bout. I'll have to look into that, but yeah, it was a good fight. Love to see Corey get the dub. Sucks that it's at Rob's expense, but it is what it is. And I'm stoked to see probably Corey fighting the winner of Aljo and O'Malley, I guess. Unless he wants to eventually get the Usman fight back. Or Umar. Umar. Some first name with the Nurmagomedov last name. So it won't show the canceled bouts. Yeah. Anyways. We move on. This fight, I was more excited for it than pretty much any fight on the UFC card, to be honest. I had higher hopes for Nate. His chin held up, his gas tank held up like I thought they would. But seeing him get dropped like that, almost in the first and fully dropped, like standing 8 all the way to the end in the 5th round. But still put on a pretty decent showing for someone who is not a boxer, right? He is indeed an MMA fighter. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But Jake gets another dub over, I don't want to say washed MMA fighter, but an MMA fighter, ex-MMA fighter, who is certainly well outside of their prime. Taking a shit ton of damage, but yeah. The only other time that you saw Nate fall like that was from a Josh Thompson head kick, so we know Jake's got power. I don't know how much I care about seeing him fight another past their prime MMA fighter, even in one that's in their prime. I'm trying to think who would give that man a good go in a boxing match. I mean, if him and Nate are gonna rematch in MMA like they're talking about, that's gonna be a good one. I have all my money on Nate in that fight. But yeah, I don't want to see any more MMA guys getting fed to influencer boxers. 97, 92, 98, 91, 98, 91. Damn. Well, in any event, there isn't much to go over here. It's a little bit of a clinic, right? Nate was piecing him up a little bit once he started to gas. But I don't know. Just like throwing little like pawing punches that I didn't feel like carried enough power to do enough damage. But there we have it. Quick recap of UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Font and Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul. What's going on next weekend? I haven't heard anything about this fucking card. I haven't heard anything about it. Wasn't there something recently with Luque having like a brain hemorrhage or something like that after his last fight? Not ideal. Not ideal. I mean, going over this, I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it. It's a shame that there isn't more hype around this card, to be honest. Cub Swanson is fighting? I thought that man was retired. I thought For sure that man was retired. Last fight was October of last year. It's actually not that long ago. Fighting Hakeem Dawodu. Man, there's some really solid fights on this card. I don't know who the fuck Isaac Dolgarian is. Who the fuck is that guy? 5-0. The Midwest Choppa. This Francis Marshall guy was supposed to be a big prospect. But still super young, I'm pretty sure. Lost his first loss back in April, and in August he's back at it. Huh. How do we feel about that? Do we feel about that? I mean, it was just by a split decision. I can't really recall that fight. I know I watched it, but my memory is about as good as something whose memory isn't very good. KOs, 2 subs. Haven't really heard of these guys. This guy's 2-4. This guy's 0-1. His only pro fight was a loss against that Isaac guy. He's 0 inches tall. It's insane. 3-7. Jesus Christ. It's crazy. This is the only guy with a winning record that this Isaac guy has won against. And he was 40 years old at the time. I don't know. Pretty sus. I think Marshall takes it there. Yeah, I don't want to start going through. I don't want to start going through the whole card because I'll leave that for another video. But yeah, it surprised me. This card came out of nowhere. I literally didn't even know who was main eventing it before I started this video. But yeah, pretty crazy. Swanson Dawodu, Roundtree Dawkins, McKinney Breeden. Is that actually? Is McKinney fighting again? No, Lando Venata is fighting. What's going on with that? Why would that say Terrence McKinney? Anyways, there's some conflict between Sherdog and the UFC apparently. Yeah, I'm far from upset with this card. I'm definitely going to be watching it gladly. Juana Santos, she's another one that didn't have any fighter info on the UFC page. Only lost one fight to decision. Seems to get a lot of subs. Huh. She got 7 names. Juana do Valle Lopez Gonzalez Santos. Have fun with that, Anik. Yeah, neat. Very neat. I will be watching this, and I hope you guys are too. Leave a like, comment, give me a subscribe if you feel I'm worthy. But love you guys, and I will see you next time.